Hello friends! Today I'm going to be reviewing In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. Hopefully I pronounced that right. I never trust name pronunciations. As usual, the first half of this recording and review will be about a spoiler-free, kind of how I felt about the book, whereas the second half I will be going into a more technical aspect of the book and there will be spoilers so that we can talk about maybe why you should read this book from a technical perspective, especially if you're a writer. So, if you don't know anything about me, I was obsessed with House on the Cerulean Sea. Obsessed. It's the one book that I tend to recommend to everyone, all kinds of readers. As it's quoted, as the happiest book with the Antichrist in it. So, who can't love that kind of book? It's so heartfelt, it has all these characters, a great story. So, if you haven't read that book yet, I'm also now recommending it to you. Anyway, it made me an instant lover of TJ Klune. So when this was just sitting on my book on the bookshelf at the library, I was like, mine. And I quickly fit it into my reading schedule. Now, I hate to admit this because now I feel like it's gonna haunt me forever, but I might be the only person that didn't realize this had anything to do with Pinocchio. So yeah, not a spoiler. I don't feel like that's a spoiler. I just feel like I'm dumb, okay? This is kind of involves Pinocchio. And I'm not the biggest fan of Pinocchio. It's a story with people and he wants to be a real boy. It's just not my jam. I mean, I feel like the fact that when we see a whale, I should have known this was Pinocchio. However, the premise of this story, though, seems to be a really cool role flip. So instead of the lead character, the puppet, as you would say, being the one that wants to be a real boy, you have robots who are the people of, like, in Pinocchio's world, and then Pinocchio is the real boy made by a robot. So I thought that was really interesting. But since I'm not a fan of Pinocchio, it didn't really make me a fan of In the Lives of Puppets. So yeah. But one of the things that TJ Klune I'm seeing that he has a lot of in his story style and the way that he tells things is the fact that he can create these wonderful, well-rounded, imaginative characters. And that doesn't stop here with In the Lives of Puppets. His characters are probably the reason I kept reading. They're the reason that it even got a 3 out of 5 stars for me. It is the reason that I oomph myself to do. And a lot of problems I find with authors is that, like, can they write outside of the voices that they've already written the first time? And TJ Klune 100% wrote completely new characters in this book, and I loved them. I mean, if you're an Iron Flame fan like I am, I mean, there comes the point where the talking dragons come, and I'm just like, yes, please. TJ Klune did that again, but with robots. Such action-packed characters throughout. I loved it, loved it, loved it. And with action-packed characters and characters with amazing depth, you have excellent dialogue to go along with it. So you've got their spunky character, it comes through in their dialogue, it really makes for a fun read, it makes for a few giggles. And overall, I think that's why I enjoyed it some. There was nothing to grab me in the plot. It felt not basic, but just vanilla, okay? We have the very thing, something bad happens, we go on an adventure, we fix the thing, we find ourselves. Here's the whole, like, reason that we feel the way that we do. We're going to have a morality conversation. Because the other thing Klune does, he does a lot of moral conversations or ideas to shape the world. And it was also very interesting that at the end in his acknowledgments, when he's acknowledging his beta readers, he also says, this wasn't the book that I planned on writing, but it's a book that came out and the world's not ready for the book I want to write right now. And that leaves me like, are you wanting to do something else with the robots? Are we going on an AI track here? Do you have thoughts about AI? I want to know. So, if he writes another robot book, I might just have to give it a try. Now, my biggest complaints are going to come now in the technical review because it's going to give a bunch of spoilers away. So, wrapping up the non-spoiler review of the book. If you liked House of the Cerulean Sea, I think you'll find something to love in the Lives of Puppets. But I'm not going to say that this is as good. I'm not going to say that it is as exciting. I just feel empty from it. And I could want just a little bit more. So, if you don't want to spoil the review, leave now, read the book, come back, do the stuff. If you are a writer, though, and you're looking for ways to, like, expand your craft and how to become a better writer, I'm going to give you the reasons why you may or may not want to read this book from a technical perspective now. Okay, so one of the problems I had with this book is that it felt like he was checking off boxes for every character in here, leaving very little to the imagination. It's like, okay, I want a sympathetic robotic character. Okay, that's sassy, but we still love them. So it's like, okay, well, check. I'm going to give it this dialogue, and check. I'm going to give it this choices, and check. I'm going to fill in this empathy protocol into the robot to make it so that it will make us laugh and realize that it has a life. And you're just like, okay. The other thing that I wasn't a big fan is Gio himself. He's a character that did all the bad things. Again, checked boxes. He did all the bad things. He realized he did something wrong. He ran away. He decided to grow a human child to get back at them. And now he's going to sacrifice himself to make the world a better place or to save the thing that he loves so much. And now we have to go on an adventure and save him. And it's just like, check, check, check. Okay, I got it all. I wanted more. I wanted more depth. And from that, Klune came a moral story of right and wrong and what's going to happen with the robots. And I was bored. Maybe I've read too many books. Can you read too many books and no book sounds interesting anymore? But because of the way that Klune kept checking off these boxes to make it feel like, okay, now I've made this character meet these things, and I've made this character meet these things, and now we're going to go to this part of the story, the emotional payoff just wasn't there. I could not back the characters. I could not be like, okay, I believe you. It just wasn't there. And in the end, you knew what was going to happen. In the end, you knew everything was going to be okay, because that's the check mark and the lack of emotional payoff. So, and without an emotional payoff at the end either, the moral of the story that Klune wanted to put at the end wasn't there either. It's like, here's the moral, and I just sat there and I'm like, okay, thank you. Okay, all right, thank you for the words. But I'm not a changed person after reading this book. And then from technical science fiction writer over here, a couple of rules are broken. So this is more of a question. So leave a comment below, okay? But did Klune break his own rules in the book? Because I'm gonna read my notes here, but it's essentially he wiped everyone's memories from the code at the end. But then he was able to put back the robot's memories? Were the robot's memories stored in the heart? Is that the whole point? That he was able to bring back Hap and Gio? That they could connect and go back to who they were? Because I thought they said they couldn't. And this is wood with some gears. How are the whole memories? Is it attached to the blood? I don't know. If you have an opinion on that, leave me a comment and help a girl out, because I don't know what's going on. So in my head, Klune broke his own damn rules. Okay? So, but I will give a positive on a technical point of view, and I thought that his version of this retelling of Pinocchio was super uber unique. And I find that a lot of times retellings stick super to the original story, or they pick points and pieces from the original story. They're just like, oh, so you made this and okay, thanks. But I think Klune actually making the real boy already a boy, and all the puppets robots, and then making the puppeteers, I would say, into the real creature, and finding the fact that it was a heart. I thought that was really well done, and you just need to be a Pinocchio fan to actually have a really good feeling about all of that. I just am not a Pinocchio fan. And his blue fairy moment, now that was too over the top, okay? X that out. All the rest was fine. I did love the heart and the blood and just all that stuff, even if I had to suspend my disbelief for a hot moment, because let's put some gears together and a fancy piece of wood and put blood on it. It's magically going to be an energy source. The electrical engineer in me is just going to breathe through that. Okay, we're going to go with that. Yeah. All right, friends. Overall, I hope that you enjoyed my thoughts on this very glossy cover of In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. I think there are a lot of really good reasons to read this book. I think if you're a fan of him, give it a try. You might if you like Pinocchio, you might really like this book. And so I'm not saying don't read it. I'm just saying, but if you are also a writer and looking for technical reasons, his retelling aspect in here, his characters and dialogue are superb. And I think that's a good enough reason to give this book a technical read, especially if you're trying to teach yourself how to write a book. So Thank you, friends, so much. I hope that you will subscribe to this channel if you like it. We also have a podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We also post them here as audio. And if you want to join in to our dark book club as well, check out the link below to the podcast page on the website to see what book we're reading next and join in. We love new people joining and leaving comments and discussing the book with us. And we wanted to provide a more horror-specific book club for people all over the world so that they can join in if they happen to not have a book club. But I hope you like this review. Please thumbs it up if you did. Thank you so much. Have a great day.